Good morning, my name is Tanaya Nash. I will be explaining briefly about the Lillie Carroll Museum before we go in to be guided by a docent inside the museum. Lillie Mae Carroll Jackson was born on May 25th, 1889. She was an activist and she was an organizer for the NAACP, and she worked alongside people like Martin Luther King, Thurgood Marshall, etc. And she was an activist and changed many things, and that helped with equity amongst African Americans and permitted them to go into some schools in Baltimore. What else to say? She valued faith, education, and family. That was one of her most prized things that she held close to her heart. And she also had health complications that you will further learn inside the museum. And she had to get a surgery which affected the muscles in her face, and it affected her speech and her facial expressions, and she usually took pictures on the other side where the damage was done. She said she would dedicate herself, and she prayed to the Lord that if her face remained and if her health pulled through, that she would dedicate herself to serving her people for the betterment of African Americans and to have integration and to be equal. Lillie Mae Carroll was an activist who helped her child get into that school. One of her daughters also married Clarence Mitchell Jr., and he was also an activist who did many things to promote equity amongst African Americans. Her child, or her daughter, is the director of the museum, and she coordinates most of the things that happens inside of it. Her mother wanted, or Lillie Mae wanted to have the museum dedicated to be her home to be a museum when she passed, so people can know what happened in the past. There's a lot of pictures and artifacts and stuff. Well, not artifacts really, but items in her home that was hers. When you go in there, is an orientation room in the back where her graduation dress and her picture was shown in the back, with her holding, I believe, was either her diploma or her degree. When you walk in, I believe that was the banner for the NAACP. When people were lynched or hanged, they would put that banner outside, and I believe it was like a man was lynched yesterday or today, and they put that out there to raise awareness to the people who didn't know. I believe that's it.
So maybe sometime inside. Are you going to be the main docent in here?
No, there's going to be somebody guys.
Oh, there'll be a guy.
Tour guide.
We're going to walk up the street to the museum now. Okay, so you want to go? All right. No.
You got ring free.
We have about half an hour. Don't be too proud, ladies. So if one stick with the tour guide, whoever's doing the tour, or you said somebody's going to
If y'all will, can y'all please sign in for me?
So you can sign in for them.
Young man, take that food out of here. Take it out. Go out, take it outside. Throw it away. It shouldn't be.
Excuse me.
Where you go? We're waiting for the doctor to come.
And she would have such guests as Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Jackie Robinson, and of course Clarence Mitchell, her son-in-law and daughter, Juanita Jackson Mitchell. Those names sound familiar, young men in the back, the tall guys. Were you here before?
Yeah, I was here.
Okay, all right, so I can ask you lots of questions, right? So, welcome, welcome. Now, I'm going to take you this way. Did anybody notice this when they walked in?
Yeah.
George Arnold, 1933. Not only did they lynch him, pull him from the jail, lynch him, cut off his ear, various forms of mutilation, they also set him ablaze. This was not unlike many lynchings in the U.S. where there were crowds watching. We EJI, Equal Justice Initiative, heard of that?
Yes.
Brian Stevenson, it's documented over 4,000, maybe 4,500 racially motivated lynchings in America. Maryland had about 44. It's not nearly as many as the thousands or so in Mississippi, Alabama, or else, Louisiana. But it's still 44 too many, right?
Yes.
So you'll see references to that really kind of got people going about issues in the United States, here in Maryland as well. Okay, we're gonna go watch her. You didn't have time for the documentary before, did you? straight upstairs. So some of you might want the elevator. The others are going to go all the way up to the third floor to the room all the way in the back. And that's where we're going to start. I'm going to take the stairs. Anybody need to use the restroom?
Lord, yeah. You gotta go down stairs after you get downstairs.
All right, so here you'll see the family. What you didn't get to hear is how Miss Jackson, and most of her photographs, she's turned to the side. But I'm going to ask Kai to share with us why she stands like always takes. But I asked you.
Yeah, she had you.
That's right.
She had the surgery that went bad and ended up messing up the whole right side of her face. So when she took pictures, she always let the left side of her face be seen. Found a photograph. And that's what I know about her.
Okay. She had surgery, had mastoiditis, and it was at Johns Hopkins when, this part's critical, when they would take blacks to the basement. Y'all not videotaping me. So.
No, huh? Sorry, who's getting the car?
Cameras over there. Cameras over there. Yeah, but yeah, you can see, I can get the car. Or, where's my other friend?
He went to the restroom.
Oh, okay. Here's a friend that you didn't meet.
But Miss,
And what is your,
I came here before I met you.
okay, what is your name? Tanaya. Nice to meet you again. All right, so that was, it was in the basements they would take African Americans. Well, of course, you know, the care wasn't the same. And so as a result of that, it was a botched surgery that severed her mastoid nerve. So things were not working the same. And over time, it drooped. Many people thought she had a stroke, but that was not the case. But you see her entire family, extended family. You see Clarence Mitchell, who they called the 101st Senator, daughter Juanita, who became the first African-American woman to practice law, and her daughter Virginia, who opened the museum. Now she wanted to be an artist. She wanted to attend museums, but the doors were closed because she was black. As well as she wanted to attend MICA, right around the corner here, Maryland Institute. Doors were closed. So her mother said, don't worry, you'll have your own museum one day, I will help you. She went to school at Pennsylvania School of Art. As Juanita went to University of Pennsylvania, Maryland, if they didn't have the curriculum here at a HBCU, they would pay for you to go out of state to attend a college out of state. Isn't that something?
yeah.
So, that's what they did. All right, you gonna move fast? Yes.
How many children did she have?
Yeah, 4 children, 3 girls. Still pop back up, voting. We see voting rights. They come up with new ways. Back then it was what they call poll taxes or literacy tests or other kind of tests. Something as simple as having some marbles or some jelly beans in a jar and you were to guess how many are in the jar. Did anybody know?
No.
That's like a gamble, right?
Yes.
And so, but that's what they one that will be a little better than the others. Just make sure the really bad don't never get in. That's the importance of voting. This is a picture when the NAACP first had its major annual conference here in Baltimore in 1936. And that's because Juanita Mitchell brought them here. She was recognized for her speaking ability. She was a strong speaker. She went to Douglas High and went into these oratory contests. They called them declamation. She would win. She was a powerful speaker even at that age. Now she and her daughter, Virginia was 2 years older, but they graduated at the same time because of that traveling, almost like homeschooling. So she graduates from high school at like 14, goes off to college. So kind of like Martin Luther King, who went as a young man. But what a lot of people don't realize, the founders of the NAACP, a lot of them were white. Such as this lady, Mary White Ovington. How about that she has white in her name? Walter White, me too. But Walter White Walter White was not white. He identified as black. He looks at it sort of like Miss Jackson's husband. But he would use that to his advantage he would go and infiltrate lynch mobs. I know Donald knows it. In one sentence, tell them what this story is about.
So these men were all on the train along with these two prostitutes, and these policemen were were nearby, and the prostitutes were afraid of getting caught, so they lied on these men right here, except that they raped them. And even after, a few years later, one of the women even admitted that they lied, and people still believe that these men raped those women.
So it's 9 young men. The youngest was 12 or 13. Yeah, I think. But they tried him first because they said he looked guilty. That's the reason we tried him. And but Clarence Mitchell also, as a reporter, went and reported on that and went to Alabama for that. But anyway, Miss Jackson, or Miss Juanita Jackson Mitchell, you'll see her on the cover of the Crisis magazine, which was NAACP's main magazine when she first got hired. So she picketed as a young lady and continued throughout all her years that she was able. Now Clarence, especially you young men, might want to do some research on him.
Some people do that stuff. They will actually not say anything and have everything go within them complain. Don't stand on that step. Don't stand on that step. Somebody's step. Somebody's step.